Welcome to the Emerging Lawyer at the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is resolving conflicts one dispute at a time. We have with us Joseph Matrix George, international arbitrator and mediator and co-founder of George and George Alternative Dispute Resolution Group, a certified mediator, court-appointed arbitrator, hostage negotiator, and keynote speaker. Joseph has redefined how conflicts are resolved through his expertise in mediation, arbitration, and negotiation. Beyond his professional accolades, he's a man of many talents, from playing golf to spearheading innovative global events. So, welcome, Joseph, to today's International Coffee Conversation shoot.
Good morning and good afternoon. It's a great pleasure to be here on the coffee shoot.
Yeah, me too. So let me explain you the flow and the format. There are 3 rounds: professional round, personal round, and there is a surprise rapid fire round for which you have to be witty, fun, and quick. And you will get to win your gift, Shaping the Gen Z Lawyer,
Okay.
written by me, which will be autographed and sent to your place. So,
Okay, thank you.
friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation, a legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal, startups, and SMEs with world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training solutions. So my first question for you, Joseph, how has your journey shaped till date?
How has my journey shaped my say that again?
How has your journey shaped from start till date?
Well, it's shaped me a lot. Beginning with construction as a young boy and working with my dad in construction. It has geared me into being a lot more patient, understanding, and it prepared me a lot for conflict resolution, because in construction you have a lot of conflict that comes up out of those type of situations. So it has molded me into where I am today. And without that key part, working with my dad in the construction industry, I don't think my skill set would have been as strong as it is today.
Wow, beautiful. So, Joseph, what are the key differences you have encountered between arbitration and mediation in international settings?
The key difference in arbitration, it's on the international stage. Arbitration is a little bit more lengthy than the mediation process, because with the arbitration, you have sometimes you walk in a room and you have 15 attorneys all pleading and fighting for their client. With mediation, it's a smaller group of people, more confidential, more private setting, versus the arbitration, where you have all the attorneys and everybody wants to have their shot and talk about the evidence and showcase their exhibits and explain to you how their client is rightful or just for the award that should be presented to their client. Where in mediation, it's a smaller private setting where everybody is talking and communicating with each other, and they're in good faith to resolve the dispute. So that's the difference there on the international stage.
Thank you for that uh, information and detailing. So, Joseph, how do you handle a situation where one party is significantly more powerful than the other?
This is yeah. That's in the complex cases. That's usually where that happens. You have I call it the David and Goliath moment. And what I do is I try to listen to both parties' argument and figure out strategically how to balance the playing field with both parties. But if someone, the bigger side, is being more aggressive, I usually pull them aside and have a private conversation with them and their attorneys, because there's usually attorneys involved at that point anyway. And I usually explain to them exactly what's going on, and explain to them that the other party is here in good faith, and we want to be on a balanced playing field. So I usually use little strategic things, pointers that I do to kind of bring them down to reality. So we all could adjust and resolve the dispute in an amicable way.
Wow. So, Joseph, let's dive deep into the conversation. What innovative strategies do you bring to negotiation sessions to ensure fair outcomes for all parties?
Let's see. The tool that I bring is empathy. You have to bring empathy and communication. Those are the two major tools that I bring. Because if you're not communicating with both parties, then you're never going to resolve the dispute. And you have to have a little bit of empathy to understand both parties, because sometimes you have to put yourself in both parties' shoes and understand where both parties is coming from. Otherwise, you cannot effectively resolve the dispute if you don't have a little bit of empathy. But at the same time, you got to know where to say communication have to supersede certain conversations within the dispute in order to bring a balanced and level playing field for both parties to resolve the dispute.
Wow. So, Joseph, as a conflict resolution expert, how do you manage emotionally charged disputes effectively?
Okay, so I'll have to go to, let's see, to experience eviction cases. When it comes to like eviction cases, where somebody is about to lose their home or their business, whether it's a commercial eviction or it's a residential eviction, you have to kind of have that emotional intelligence to where you try to see it for what it is and then explain to them it's not personal, it's business at the end of the day. If we look at it from the business standpoint and eliminate the emotional part, then we could actually resolve the dispute. And sometimes they both parties understand that. But I always like to include and let them know sometimes our apology goes a long way. Say, hey, I'm sorry I was late on the rent. Um, these things happen and it was beyond me. And I thought I could have managed my finances. And for some reason, it spiraled out of control. And now here we are. So sometimes an apology goes a long way in any type of dispute. Apology goes a long way. So sometimes when you apologize in an eviction dispute, sometimes the landlord will say, listen, you're a good tenant. You've been living here for quite some time. I tell you what, we could take the money that you owe and break it up into several sections and put it into the rent every month until that balance is paid off. And then once that balance is paid off, then your rent goes back to its original state. So that's how, again, apology, it goes a long way.
Beautiful words, Joseph. This is my key learnings from your conversation, because each coffee speaker leaves key learning, what do you say, memorable quote. So thank you for that. Now,
Thanks.
let's go memory down the lane. Can you share an example of a complex arbitration case you handled and how you manage the process?
Complex arbitration case. I say it's a solar panel case where the solar panel company, they went on this house and they designed based on the specs of the roof. But the guy who designed the specs of the roof, he did the measurements wrong. So when they put the panels on the roof, the panels was not adequate to cover the roof to give the sufficient energy for the house. So they had to take the panels back off. Now, when they took the panels off, they left these holes in the roof, which now caused leaks into the roof. Now the homeowner is upset because now they have roof leaks. Now the solar panel saying, well, we didn't cause the leak. So it became where who's going to pay for this roof damage? The solar panel saying they're not paying for it. The homeowner say, well, it was never there because, my home always been without a leak and it only happened after you guys removed the panels and reposition them to put it back on. So after talking with both parties and looking at their house, thank God they had a home inspection. After looking at the home inspection report that the homeowner, that was Exhibit B, So after looking at Exhibit B and see that their home had a home inspection and there wasn't any damage or any leaks to the roof, I turned to the solar panel and asked them questions on what did they do on the roof. And they explained to me, well, they put the panels on, and because the measurements was wrong, they had to reposition the panels on the roof. And after realizing that and looking at the documentation from the homeowner, they realized that they're the ones who was at fault. And automatically, I ruled in favor of the homeowner. After I looked at everything, I ruled in favor of the homeowner. But the solar panel company, they actually did a gesture and added a little bit more money to pay for the damages for the roof because they wanted to keep that customer.
Wow, beautiful. Okay. So, Joseph, what do you see as the biggest challenges in international arbitration and mediation today?
I would say cultural dividing. Culture is very huge in the international stage because with me doing cases in Dubai and doing cases in China and Japan, each one of them have their own cultural differences. And right now, like Iran and India and those areas that's growing into the arbitration industry, they're all trying to find these laws, but the cultural differences is still different, and the legal challenges is there also. But thanks to AI, we're having a lot of translation apps that's coming out there that all these companies is using now. So it actually assists us in with the cultural differences on the international stage. So to the answer to your question again is cultural differences is the biggest thing right now on the international stage.
Wow. So, Joseph, I'm a little curious. How do you prepare yourself when you for an arbitration or dispute resolution or conflict resolution? What are your groundwork being done so that when you enter, because there are a lot of emotions, a lot of parties are involved, and how do you center yourself? Ki your client gets the justice and you go home with a smile.
So what I do when it comes to the arbitration portion, what I do is I usually have an engagement letter that I send out to both parties. Once that engagement letter is signed off on, and I give parties at least a week before the arbitration hearing to submit all the exhibits, evidence, document, any type of document that they need me to weigh in on my arbitration award, send it to me early so I could start to review it and prepare it. So the day of the hearing, and they presented their arguments and also presented their own exhibit that they probably didn't get the opportunity to send to me, to review that to me so I could base a just award based on that. When it comes to mediation, I center myself as to, I call it the Buddha time, where I have my time of serenity and peace. And I listen to both parties, and I try not to take sides. I look at the evidence and the facts and their arguments. So their open and closing statement is what I listen to. And then I look them in their eyes. Because when you look people in the eyes, and sometimes I say the eyes is the windows to the soul. You could kind of, when you do this long enough, as you an attorney also, when you do this long enough, you could kind of tell when people is trying to deceive you a little bit to kind of weigh you in favor of their argument. So I usually have that center of peace, and I collect myself. I put on, sometimes before my mediation, I put on some instrumental music to kind of just ground me a little bit, to prepare my mind for the battle that's about to come.
Beautiful, beautiful. One more, you give me my learning Buddha moment, going into silence, going centeredness. That is very
Yes,
effective tool. Once you are grounded, connected to Mother Earth, she guides you.
yes.
Beautiful. Okay. So, George, as co-founder of George and George ADI Group, what has been your proudest moment since inception?
Let's see. My proudest moment, I would say, is working with celebrities. That's been my proudest moment. And the reason why celebrities have now, and it's not just celebrities, but celebrities, entertainers, rappers, football players, tennis players, the whole entertainment industry, um, they have recognized our firm as one of the places to come to assist them in resolving their dispute. And their dispute is a little bit unique because even though they still might make us sign a NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement, it's just another layer of confidentiality for them. The reason why they prefer this is because they don't want their business in the public eye. And as celebrities, they could lose sponsorships from major labels. They could lose sponsorship. So if they could keep their private business private, that's a whole lot better for them. And that's the whole reason why the ADR industry is growing the way it's growing, because the court system recognized the speediness of it, the confidentiality, as well as the celebrities and the entertainment industry. Even at attorneys, they're realizing that litigation is not always the way to go. Arbitration and mediation is growing so quick now that celebrities love it. And celebrities, their issues is usually internal, where they might have their mom was their manager, or the dad or best friend is their manager. And they have these internal dispute where these people, if it goes to court, they could expose their most private secrets that could be exposed, all because of anger. So with using this confidential process of arbitration and mediation, they now get to resolve their differences between them and their counterparts, and keep it confidential, and save the relationship. And to the celebrities, it's all about saving that relationship or that partnership. And when you go to court, as you know, it could get nasty in the court with depositions, with opposing attorneys, could make the water muddy, and expose things that, again, the celebrities don't want to get exposed.
Wow. So let's go to your other career as a keynote speaker. What preparations do you undertake when you go for a keynote speaker's assignment?
When I go for keynote speaking, I always make sure I know my client, the audience that I'm going to be presenting my speech to. And then the day before, I usually minimize my speaking. So I usually take like lime and honey. So I'll drink a little bit of lime and honey for my throat. And then the next day, I don't talk until I get on stage. So that's how I prepare myself, because I've had incidents when when I was first coming out speaking, where I walk out on stage and I was so nervous and my mouth won't open up for the first 1 minute, and then I had to clear my throat and my throat got so dry. So now I got a system in place where I actually have that put in place, that lime and honey, don't talk to nobody the day of. And then when I go out on stage, I'm just like a ball of fire. I just lit up the stage and I talk to them. And sometimes, like when I do like the high schools, I usually take like an envelope with money, and I go in before everybody enters in the room, and I put that money and I tape it underneath of a chair. So whenever the students walk in the school auditorium, and then I say to a lucky person, look underneath your chair. And when they look underneath their chair, they see $100 or $500. All depends on what I feel like doing that particular time. And then they're just so happy just to see that they actually won money. So so preparing for these things is critical. And again, having that downtime where you don't use your voice actually helps to go out and speak, especially if you're going to be out there for doing it for all day, speaking in different classrooms or different events throughout the conferences.
Wow. Okay. So, Joseph, who has influenced you from the arbitration dispute resolution world?
I would have to say Gunnar Redfield, my trainer. He has done so much stuff, and he's trained me a lot. He's actually my paralegal trainer also. Um, at the Alternative Dispute Resolution Group. They actually have trained me on doing a lot of stuff. So I would have to say he has definitely mentored me. And mentorship, a lot of people don't understand how important mentorship is. It's a critical tool in our growth process. And it's good to have mentors out there that is willing to take you under their wing and show you the ropes as you first come out. Because as you first coming out, sometimes it's difficult to find your way. But when you have a mentor that can hold your hand and say, hey, this is a better way to do this, or here's a document that you could use for your first arbitration. So definitely Gunnar Redfield is who has definitely shaped me in the arbitration field.
Wow. So my last question, Joseph, what advice would you give to young legal professionals entering the world of dispute resolution, arbitration, and mediation?
I would say stay hungry. Don't ever get comfortable. In this field, there's somebody else who's out there looking for your clients too. My biggest thing is never ever listen to the naysayers. There's always gonna be somebody out there telling you you can't do this or you shouldn't do that. But if you don't listen to the naysayers, you're gonna be successful and you're gonna stay on your grind. I've had naysayers right now, and I've surpassed attorneys who told me that non-attorney mediators or arbitrators will never make it in this industry. And now I got where I'm teaching over in Nigeria at the Settlement House. I'm teaching in the Virgin Islands, and I'm teaching here in the United States. So, and I have mentors from all over the globe. Even in Ukraine, I got mentorees that I'm mentoring in what I do, and I'm telling the same thing. Stop listening to people. Focus on yourself. Try to hang around positive people. Read books. Learn terminology. The biggest thing in our industry is if you're not an attorney, mediator, or arbitrator, learn the terminology, learn the legal language, and that's going to take you a very long way. And go to the courthouses, sit with the judges. As an arbitrator, I go in, I call up the courthouses and I say, hey, can I come in and sit in and watch the judge today? And all of the judges, they're fine with you coming in and um, watching them work. And then sometimes I'll ask the judge, why did you rule in favor of this other person? And they'll tell you, well, based on the law and a little bit of common sense, is how they make their decision on certain cases. So again, if you're coming up as a young legal professional, learn the terminology. If you don't know how to learn that, go to the courthouses, call up to the biggest and the top law firms, and ask them, can I shadow with your attorneys for a day? Stay hungry, stay grinding. That's what I do. I don't ever get comfortable. I'm always hungry. I'm hungry right now. I'm ready to go do something else right now. I'm hungry.
Beautiful, beautiful. So let's go to the next round and understand Joseph as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
Let's see. Family is very big with me. I enjoy spending time with my daughters. When they come up here, my two boys and my daughters, when they come up here to the States and they visit, we have our own family little thing that we do every year. Where we go to the spa, we have the shopping sprees, we go play a little bit of golf. So that's how I create that work-life balance. It's not always about out there working and grinding. Sometimes you have to have that family time to reset your mind. So family is very important to me. And I enjoy spending time with my kids. I don't always tell them that, but I do enjoy spending a lot of time with my kids and my grandbabies.
Wow. So I'm a little curious, Joseph, you have matrix in your name. So how did this come up?
So so Matrix was I'm good with computers. So I started off in the computer industry, repairing computers, doing a little bit of coding, working on the internet and things like that, helping people build websites. So, and then I used to show people how to use social media, as a means to build their practice and market their business. So that's where I got the name long time ago when I was young. And then from that, I just emerged into this international arbitrator and mediator. But they say your past experience develop who you are today. So with having that electronic and computer skill set, that's what helped me in working on international IP um, cases. So that helps me with that.
Wow. So this beautiful movie is also there of Keanu Reeves on Matrix.
Yes,
Do
yes,
do
that's
you
how I feel
follow?
sometimes. Yes, I feel like that sometimes when I'm working on these complex cases, like I'm dodging a lot of bullets and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yes. Okay. So Joseph, what's your favorite way to unwind after resolving a challenging dispute?
I usually reflect on what I could have done better.
Mhm.
Um, I usually review the case and see what both parties was talking about and see if there was another option for me to assist them in resolving it in a better way. And that's it. That's in mediation. If it's an arbitration, then I review the case a second time to see if I'm making a just award based on the facts and the evidence that was presented to me. Now, when it comes to negotiation, it depends on whether both parties brought me in to negotiate on both of their behalf or one party brought me in to negotiate on their behalf. So if I'm negotiating just on one client's perspective, then negotiation is a little bit more than arbitration and mediation because there's a lot of tactics that go into negotiating for your client to get the best result for your client. But at the same time, having the other party not feeling like they've been bamboozled or they've been screwed over. So I try to negotiate in a way where both parties feel like they got something out of the deal, and I think that's the best way to negotiate. Now, when I'm negotiating on both parties' behalf, then what I usually do is make sure I keep it balanced. And I always ask questions like, does any one of the parties feel like they're getting less than they just wanted? And if they feel one party feels that way, then we work on it until both parties feel like they both get an equal share of the negotiation.
Wow. So Joseph, what sparked your interest in golf and how is it helping you professionally, personally?
So I grew up on the golf course in the Caribbean, in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. I lived not too far from the golf course, and then I started working there. And after I started working there, I found a love for golf, and then I started getting trained on how to play golf. Then I become a 16 handicap, so I was out there playing with the big boys. And now it's helped me because some courthouses, I go out and I play golf with some of the judges, some of the attorneys, and then I actually I had a golf tournament that I launched and getting ready to relaunch it again. So that'll be coming soon. But going out and playing golf, it has aided me in being a lot more patient on the golf course because to swing that little ball, you have to be patient to line it up just right, not try to overpower the ball because you don't want to slice it to the right or slice it to the left. You want it to go straight to the green. So I think golf has shaped me in being a little bit more patient also. And it's just an overall a great sport to network with other industry professionals. You say, hey, let's go and talk about over around the golf. So it's
Yes.
a good networking tool to use also.
Wow. So there is another hat you wear as a spa and salon consultant. So what got you interested in this diverse field?
So a long time ago, I became a makeup artist. And then I started doing nails. And then after I started doing nails, I became a celebrity nail tech where I started to do celebrity nails. And then from that, I found a love for it. And then I opened up a high-end spa where I had, $200 pedicures, which was my Cleopatra pedicure, where I actually wrapped your feet with gold and seaweed. And that was like a $250 pedicure. and the women love it. I had attorneys and high profile people that would come into my spa and enjoy the services. We had like gold facials, caviar facials. So and owning that spa has actually helped me in what I do today as mediating and arbitrating beauty industry cases, such as pharmaceuticals and skincare. So when there's a dispute with a pharmaceutical manufacturer, I'm the person that they come and go seek to assist them in resolving those disputes. So my past, for some reason, every bit of my past has worked out for me to arbitrate or mediate cases today. So I'm in the beauty industry, I'm the beauty industry mediator. And it's because of having that spa and doing nails and facials and massages and being trained on those different areas has gained me access to working on beauty industries disputes today. And I'm having a blast doing this whole alternative dispute stuff. I mean, it's just to help. I know you probably feel the same way I feel, but in my stomach, I get such great pleasure when I assist somebody in resolving a dispute. Just to see them coming in angry and upset with each other, and then both of them leaving out of a mediation or arbitration, feeling that both of them got a fair dispute resolution process and they understand it. And that's my passion right there, is to make sure everybody understand what arbitration, mediation, and negotiation is.
Wow. So what's one book or movie that has inspired you and has left your mark on your life?
I have to say it's The Negotiator with Samuel Jackson. It's a funny movie with him being a negotiator and then from his own his own people turning against him when he was being framed, and then to actually reach out to another hostage negotiator to actually come in and negotiate on his behalf and to actually listen to him versus what everybody else is saying about him. This other negotiator came in and actually listened and look at both sides. Like the cops were saying, oh, he killed one of their own. And he was saying, no, I did not do it. I'm being framed. But this negotiator came in and said, okay, tell me what's going on. And that's how I do when I'm negotiating hostage cases. When I go in there with communication, my effective communication skills and my active listening skills. As a good hostage negotiator, we always have to have that active listening skill. So that movie always gets me because being a hostage negotiator myself, I get them where you have, because sometimes being on the scene, you have the police, you have the mayor, you have elected officials who say, oh, we want this hostage crisis to be over with as quickly as possible. But in hostage negotiation, it's all about time. And we can't rush the process because we have different levels. We have to know who the assailant is, why they're there, how many people do they have in the room with them, what brought them to this to escalate to this situation. And then once we gather all that information, now it's time for us to start to do the de-escalation process and start to cool the water and find out how to get this person out unharmed as well as their victims that they have. So the negotiator is one of the movies that definitely elevate me and is one that I'm very always looking forward to watching.
Wow, beautiful. Joseph, what's a hidden talent or hobby that even your close friends might not know about?
I would say drone. I like flying drones. So that's one of my hidden talents. I like to go out and just fly the drones out there. It's amazing that when you're sitting and you're just seeing a forest of trees, you just seen it from the front. But when you actually have a drone and it goes up over it, you see things that you would never ordinarily see. And just to look through the lens of a drone, you see different things that you capture different things that you never thought was out there. Just because nobody's gonna walk through the woods, with snakes and different creatures out there. But from looking at it from a bird's eye view from the drone, it gives a different perspective on what you actually see.
Wow. So, Joseph, who has been the most influential person in your life and how have they shaped you?
I would say my two sisters. I have to say my two sisters, my sister Val and my sister Noreen, they both have been my rock. If anything should happen to me, my one sister, Val, she has my back. She would drop what she's doing and come to aid me. My sister Noreen, when it comes to business, she is right there with me. I could bounce ideas back and forth with her. She has her own podcast, Save Our Sisters podcast, and she does that. And I like to see her doing that podcast because her podcast is about uplifting women. So just to seeing her out there doing something to uplift women who don't have a voice for themselves, I look up to her in that aspect of what she does. And my other sister Val, when it comes to mediation and arbitration, she's right there doing it with me. So she's my partner in the firm also. So it's great to do things with family. Sometimes it get a little sticky when you're the younger family member, because sometimes the older ones don't listen to you as much, because you still have that authority from being the older sister. But sometimes in business we have to say, hey, we got to separate the family from the business and let's run the business as a business. But as family, it still creeps in. So those two sisters is the one who have shaped me today. And my one sister that passed away, Sheila, who passed away, she's the one who got me started into the business also. Because this was something that we all were supposed to do, and then she passed away. And I still continue to pursue it as to keep her memory alive.
Wow. Joseph, what legacy would like to leave behind?
That legacy I would like to leave behind. I would like to leave a legacy behind of integrity where people could always remember me and say, he had good integrity and loyalty. That's him. When it comes to loyalty, he had your back. He never wavered his integrity to please any corporation or anybody. He'd always stand firm on his beliefs. So that's my legacy I want to leave behind.
Wow. So my last one will be a googly. Describe Joseph in one line.
Let's see, in one line. Ambitious, dedicated, very motivated, and strategic, and overly possessive in working.
Wow, beautiful. So let's go to the next round and have some fun, the rapid fire round. Mediation or arbitration?
Arbitration.
Favorite golf course?
Well, it's closed now, but it was a Devil's Triangle in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands.
Wow. One book everyone in your field should read.
I don't now that one. I gonna have to take a shot on that one there. I don't have a particular book in this field.
Any book, any book. Let it one book you recommend, or one book which is close to your heart.
I would say a leadership book. Because in what we do, you have to have some type of leadership role in order for you to take yourself to another level. So I would say a leadership book.
Wow. One dish you could eat forever.
Okay, it would be macaroni and cheese and chicken. That's my favorite.
Wow. Your personal mantra.
Huh?
Your personal mantra you live by, or a quote you live by.
Loyalty. Loyalty utmost. I rather loyalty over anything.
Wow. Best piece of advice ever received.
Best piece of advice. Stay true to yourself. And never waver again, never waver your integrity.
Wow. Early mornings or late nights?
Definitely late nights. I am what they call a vampire, I guess. I feel my body waking up in the nighttime. And in the morning I feel a little more sleepy, but nighttime I feel like body's coming alive in the nighttime.
Wow. Favorite color?
Blue.
Tea or coffee?
Tea. Love of tea and coffee.
Wow. So you did very well, Joseph. And here's your gift, which will be autographed and sent to you. So, friends, it was a lovely conversation having with Joseph Matrix George, how he established his career in international arbitration, dispute resolution, conflict resolution, but he he's very like many concepts he has shared during the conversation. Ki apologies go long way. Buddha moment, being serene, yes, because arbitration dispute resolution is all about the art of effective listening, communication. So he has mastered that, and his various interests in golf, how he uses golf for networking, for his other interests. So he is like keynote speaking. He has given so many tips how he prepared himself, like having honey and lemon, and remains silent. Keep his speaking it goes well, and he's able to deliver what he has done, what is prepared, understands the crowd. So many tips and so many insights. We have had a lovely conversation. So this is what our coffee speaker brings to the table, where they share their insights on the topic, on their journey, professional, personal, and it's all inspiring. So if you want to be featured like Joseph, visit our LinkedIn company page, the Emerging India Forum, or our website, the emergingindiaforum.com. Fill in the form. Our team will invite you to be featured over a cup of coffee conversation and get inspired and share your stories. So we want others to get inspired, have those smiles, and live a contented life. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.